All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. We are live once again here speaking about guided Primal Sutra podcast. The topic is shadow work, why your
Mm.
shadows are cock blocking your manifestations. And essentially, we started talking about this because we got a request from one of our adepts. Shout out to Mathis IC222, who came
Mhm.
up with this topic today. Um, let's share
That is
this with
true.
the tribe as
I
well.
was just thinking this.
Yeah.
Hmm. Three, two, one.
All right.
Of course, welcome guys to the GPS Guided Primal Sutra podcast. Today's topic is indeed shadow work and how we can further employ the shadow to get what we want. Now, I believe we stumbled upon shadow work like a few years ago, right, Sumit, when we had
Yeah.
our program
Soul
Matching the
Eater.
Dates. And
Yeah, I
then
remember.
we used shadow work and the theory of shadow work and applied it to a program that we designed called Soul Eater, which had a lot to do with, turning the mirror towards yourself, becoming the candle that is only useful when it burns itself, burning the old to make way from the new. And that's
Yeah.
technically my interpretation of what a shadow is. You must be willing to either confront or embody or whatever that which you have suppressed.
Right.
Because what has been suppressed is technically gold to be mined.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to
That's
have to remove a
hence
lot of
the
dirt,
golden shadow as well.
golden shadow as well. Which, if shadowness was a spectrum, you would have the shadow that we're used to and the shadow that we're intimidated by. And the way you experience that with people would be, oh shit, I don't like this skinny motherfucker. I feel insulted that he's even existing or the way he's acting like a bitch. Vice versa, I might feel very intimidated by someone who has wrestled for years, has a fantastic body, and I know he could beat me up and eat me alive. Both shadows exist simultaneously. One would represent my weakness, and the other would represent the hidden strength that has yet to be developed.
Mm, okay.
So it then becomes no longer am I triggered by a perceived weakness that someone else has. No, I realize that this exists within me, and I must allow the emotion to do what the emotion must do.
The trigger becomes the guru. Yeah.
The trigger becomes the guru. Allow, because the more you resist the trigger, the worse it gets.
Mhm.
And that's all I have to say about that. Back to you, Sumit.
Yeah, man. I always wonder why we always call it shadow work and not shadow play.
Yep.
Because yes, it is work. It is difficult, but if we call it shadow work, it's gonna feel like work. And I think if we look at it like shadow puppets, you know, how shadow
Hmm.
play, that's exactly it. And also, I think a lot of people in the spiritual scene, they all head, no balls, right? Like all clouds, no earth, in a sense. So very floaty, not grounded enough. And I think when we talk about oneness, well, we can't even be with our own mess, then
Yeah.
you got to start integrating because I think escapism is rampant in the spiritual community.
Define escapism and why does it exist within the spiritual community?
Crown chakra seekers. So people just going into their higher chakras and forgetting that they have lower ones,
Mm,
not doing the energetic work or the
mm,
grounding work to like bring that energy down. So of course they're going to float up into the stars and be very high pitched and be up here because I'm
mhm.
in the head, right? And
Yeah.
so like that's the energy of it. And I think we've got
So
T-Rex
true.
in the basement, you know what I mean? We've got millions of years of evolution packed into our DNA, right? Raw
Hmm.
aggressiveness, instincts, drive. We can't just ignore that and go to a spiritual la la land. I mean, we can, but then the primal beast will start to rage and hunger and crave things. And if we
Yeah.
suppress it and pretend that it doesn't exist,
Yeah.
it will break out of the cage. So just be
That's like
careful of
pretending
that.
you're a man That's not sexual. Who are you trying to fool?
Mm,
Who are you trying to fool? Who are you trying to fool? That's like being a human being an animal and not being hungry.
mm,
Just like a plant and not having its roots dig deeper for nutrients. You can't be a healthy plant without roots or some way to anchor yourself towards either the soil or some other plant. But that's besides the point. The point is
right.
you must develop all chakras.
Yeah.
To whatever extent that you can, of course, but that's besides the point again. You cannot merely be escaping. I have earned more of my wholeness by confronting whenever I needed to confront, and that included going as deep as I could through the shadow. So, how can playing with the shadow help one get what it should have gotten from escapism? Do you know what I'm trying to ask?
I think if you don't starve your inner beast and you actually start feeding it, then you will get that as a
Hmm.
result. Because if you try to be an angel and then you starve your beast, then it's like the beast is like, fine, I'll eat you instead. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
well said. Well said. Everything you suppress about yourself is gonna bite you in the ass in one way or another.
yeah,
You ignore your diet. It's gonna come bite you at some point. You forget to stretch. It's gonna bite you at some point. You don't do any strength training. You're gonna notice it at some point. You don't
right.
socialize with women. It's gonna come back at you. You you hate men for whatever reason. It's gonna come back and bite you, etc., etc., etc.
Yep.
So, how
Saga
does one
continues.
play then with the shadow?
Well, I think so. There's two halves to reality. There's the eternal realm that is basically
Hmm.
unchanging, perfect, where everything is already connected. And then there's the temporary realm where everything is kind of separate, messy, evolving, changing.
Hmm.
And the mistake people make is people try to apply eternal rules to the temporary world. So people say like, we're all equal, so hierarchy doesn't matter. Or then
Okay.
you know, of course we've started to explore that and understood confluence and so much more of that dynamism. However, in God's eyes, I think we're all the same, but in the Earth's eyes, I don't know.
No.
Some people do more, some people are more, and you have to earn your place.
Mm,
You have to earn your
earn your place
place.
or stay in your lane,
Right, right.
right?
So you got to face your shadows. I think it is mandatory because otherwise it will come back to bite you,
Yeah.
like we were saying earlier. Yeah,
Let's give a quick example. Like something happened to me today. I fucking hate indecisive people. It drives me up the wall if there's no clarity. So how I
yeah.
play with this is I notice the trigger. I not just catch the trigger, but I catch it in the act of triggering me, and I observe while all of this is happening. And then the more I experience it, the more I realize, okay, this is not an internal thing anymore. This is also an external thing. So not only is this a spiritual activity, I need to actually change my environment. To
Yeah.
build on that example, one of my colleagues from work has a hard time really crystallizing what the client wants. I have one half an hour convo with the client, put it in a PowerPoint presentation. We now know exactly what we need to do. All the while observing my emotions
You see,
towards
so that's
both
the
of them.
difference, Ryan, because you are the integrated shape-shifting shaman, and somebody else
Uh-huh.
is the escape artist. They're trying to make the work done quickly without actually putting in time and looking at it, scoping it out, like actually understanding it. They just want to kind of get it done, but
Yep.
not really get it done. You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
like so I think why we must improve ourselves is if we reject our own evolution, then we reject growth. And so essentially we reject life.
Hmm.
So if we look at nature, everything is expanding, right? The sun burns brighter, the fucking rivers cut deeper,
Mm,
you know. So if you're not evolving, you are actually dying in a strange
mm.
way. It's quite simple.
I've
Yeah.
read an Instagram post on this. You know, shit is freaking out for you when you suddenly start laughing after a long time, and you're like, ah, we're back. We're
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
Return of the Mac. Here it is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Right. So your
I.
dark side isn't your enemy, it's your fuel. And if you can train it to serve you, not sabotage you, and work alongside you, the sage and the beast, the warrior
Mhm.
and the monk, the priest and the beast, priestess and the beast. You don't fix your shadow, you wield it like a blade.
Mm. Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
That's the integration aspect of it. Because who are the most powerful people? They're the ones who didn't reject their instincts. They found a way to harness them.
You know, as you said that about the weapon, the blade, I was reminded of those women who dance with snakes. And they, and I don't know to which extent this is true, but I am very fascinated by them for obvious fucking reasons. Um, they actually sleep with that snake. Now take it as you will, but it is very akin to playing with the shadow. The shadow can really hurt you. The shadow might as well be possibly the most dangerous aspect of oneself because it's everything you hate about yourself and other people, etc., etc., etc. So I can
Yeah, and
understand.
sometimes it gets projected out, right? And
And
then we
it, oh,
don't
well,
realize it.
sometimes it often does. It often does.
Yeah,
And oh, yeah, shadow work is also learning when you project something. And that's the tricky part for me too. Because how would you know?
yeah.
How would
I
you know?
think people have like a extra skill set or like a sensory perception, like a spidey sense when it comes down to shadow work.
Mhm.
Shout out to Ellie, my girlfriend, who like we were talking about this
Shadow do double E.
wounds,
Hmm.
turning your wounds into wisdom.
Mm.
Like really starting to understand that once you don't feel that same memory anymore, you don't feel that same density of that emotion anymore, at some level you've matured spiritually through your own
I see that.
evolution. Because if you
Yeah.
can turn your own chaos into power, then you don't just find God, you become a living embodiment of God fractal, right? And then you go forth and you integrate with what you know. So
Yep.
you have to face the beast or be eaten by it. That's what we're telling you guys,
Face the
okay?
beast to
I
be
know it's
eaten by
kind
it.
of
Well,
in your
I would
face, but
almost
that's what
say
it is.
either learn how to play with that beast or be eaten by it. It's like being the ringleader, right? And you had the whip and the chair. And
Oh, happy St. Patty's Day, by the
oh,
way. I'm drinking
I don't have any
kombucha though.
alcohol right now.
Yeah.
Fuck. Ah, this
Diddly
fucking
dee
hurts.
potatoes. Shout out to
Anyway,
all the
happy
Irish
pet.
people. Yeah, straight up.
Of course, I'm a little bit 50-50 on St. Patrick's Day because technically St. Patrick's did kill or shoo away all the snakes, and the snakes tended to, is code for those who are of pagan origin,
Ah.
technically. But the way, again, you may interpret this however you want to, so I'm going to do the same. Um, I'll connect it to the clover leaf, the leprechaun, because I do like the leprechaun energy. And because the leprechauns are celebrated today, fuck it. Then I'll use
Yeah. Shout out Uncle
a
P, who we work with.
Uncle P. It's
And
not his
yeah,
actual name, but it is funny. Because
yeah.
when you take a piss, right?
Right. Where's this
I don't know.
analogy going?
Forget the analogy. I was just so stupid.
Yeah,
Oh,
more shadow work.
uh, leave it, leave it, leave it. It's kind of the idea of imagine something pissing, right? But then through the steam, like a rainbow starts to form. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with it. Anyway, the point is, you must learn to play with the beast
Yeah.
because it's the same beast that she wants to play with. It's the same lioness he wants to play with. It's the same thing. Maybe flip gender wise, maybe flip age wise, whatever. But it's the same
That's very
energy.
interesting, huh? The same place it's like the beast is rejected, sent away, cast away, but it's also at a weird level. It's taboo, it's romanticized, it's eroticized, it's made this amazing thing. So it's like this weird split mind that we all have, right? So we can't fully double down on it because it's like, fuck, it's like the skeletons in the closet. They're gonna start dancing on my grave or something. I don't know what we're
Well,
worried about.
if you have skeletons, you might as well make some bone broth. You know?
That's the right cheat
Great,
code.
great nutrients. There might be a
Bruh.
level of morality that you need to be okay with.
I was just imagining myself as a skeleton the other day, right? Like just full on skeleton, and it made my biomechanics or yoga very different. It was very
Mm,
trippy, actually, when I
I see.
actually tuned into it. Like the fact we have joints and fucking, tendons
Well,
and shit. Like,
welcome to
fuck.
wrestling, man. Welcome to
Yeah.
wrestling. You'll learn some shit. When is
Yeah.
the gym opening? Is it just a fitness gym or
Yeah. So they're moving away from this old location and they're gonna move to I think there is an MMA one opening nearby too, so everything in due time, and I think
everything in
it's
due
all
time?
gonna unfold as it should.
It's gonna be
Um,
interesting to see how you react to getting punched and kicked, etc., and wrestled, etc. Because
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
slowly transitioning to wrestling and MMA as well. But
Nice.
with that as well, just take it back to the topic at hand. Wrestling is a different animal than BJJ. Kickboxing, MMA as well. And I'm gonna have to almost start as a beginner. Of course, I have my kicks, etc., but I can throw a punch. But there's a big difference between throwing a punch and actually knowing how to box.
Right.
So it's gonna be a while before I really find my flow. And in order to get there, I'm gonna have to crawl my way through mud and understand my body, the conditioning I need, the way I need to eat, etc. It's also my attempt to take a few steps away from the whole BJJ belting system because I'm feeling too obsessed by it. It shouldn't be about the
Mm,
belt, it should be about skill.
yep.
But
The
that could also be a
monster
shadow
grows in
projection,
the
right?
dark, you know what I mean? Like, so it's really
Well,
important for us to
it
understand that,
seems
Yeah.
certain vegetables are more edible when they're grown in the dark,
Mm, that makes sense.
right?
I mean, we grow in the dark too, kind of with melatonin and so
Yeah,
forth,
well,
with the pineal
there's
gland.
a lot more aspects to this, right? Because especially we men need the sunlight. I'm not saying you women don't, but where women are more lunar cycled, men are more sun cycled, you know, protection, etc. So those of you who are not getting enough sun, fucking start getting more sun. Buy a LED, whatever it's called, red light therapy thing. Tell them I told you to buy one.
Yeah.
Blast
Quality
your
over
nuts with.
quantity every time, says Mathis. Golden suit today, I see. Yep.
All right,
Don't
I
we
forgot
live our
about the.
whole lives in the shadows, like technically speaking? Well,
Ah,
not necessarily. It becomes kind of like Frankenstein, if you think about it. Like it's a stitched together monster, right? Made up of all of your forgotten, denied parts of you. So it just kind of grows into this thing, and it kind of sabotages your life and from behind the scenes. But
the
it
way I
will
see it,
lurk in your unconscious, pulling your
absolutely,
strings. So you got to
absolutely,
face it. This is
absolutely.
why you got to face it. Yeah.
Remember the time I was just feeling so haunted by writing that thesis, and every time I would see like a LinkedIn post of someone getting their master's, it would just trigger me to my core.
Yeah.
And then now I have to do something else, but in a very less way. It still triggers me, but I'm like, okay, I have seen this pattern with me before.
That's a good
Technically,
way
I
to
still live in
know
the
how where
shadow.
your shadow
Here's the
leaves
thing, you still
clues.
live in the jungle, man.
Right.
But now I just know how to swing from vine to vine a little bit better. Remember with the Tarzan Disney movie? right? There's like a training arc, right? Where you
Yeah.
had to learn to be a gorilla, but Tarzan had to learn to be a gorilla his way because he had different biomechanics. And at
Right.
some point he couldn't keep up with the gorillas, so he went a different
Hybrid.
route. Same
He
goal.
like owned his hybrid nature or something. Yeah, you're right.
Yes. Yes, man, that dude's calisthenics must be off the
Yeah.
out of this
Doing
world,
it
man.
off of swinging vines and shit. Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I've learned it from someone else. Your hell right now. You could choose to escape it, or you could decide to pitch a tent to understand it, study it, and then one day become its king. And then once you're
Mm.
king, it becomes new level, new devil. And then
Divine
guess what,
royalty.
Jack? Divine royalty, exactly. Through hell, you reach heaven. If you run 5K every week, and suddenly you need to fucking sprint 5K for whatever reason, it's gonna get easier.
Yeah,
But you're
because
gonna have to start everything.
the hell that you're going through is actually trying to send you a message. So when you're getting hit with all these waves of self-doubt, shame, anger, that's your subconscious trying to tell you something about you. And if you listen deeper, then you can start understanding like, have you ever dated the same kind of toxic trait in a person, but
Yeah,
in a different
yeah,
body,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
or like, have you ever lost money the same way again and again? Or have you wound out in the same drama? Like these
Yes,
kinds of events happen and they're recurring life patterns, right? So if it happens more than three times, it's probably a good idea to, put a bookmark on it and look at it and start reflecting.
that's true.
So it's not bad luck, it's a pattern and like patterns don't lie. So if something triggers you
Patterns
more
never
than it
lie.
should,
Hmm.
if you see villains everywhere you look or something, then yeah,
Hey, you might be one of them.
you might be one of them.
You might be
Exactly.
one of them, man.
That's your shadow
There's,
screaming for attention, basically.
yes, it's the small annoying kid that you're like, ah, shut up. And he said, no, I won't shut up. You're ignoring me. I'm
I want
tired
the
of your
toy
bullshit.
anyway. Yeah,
I want the
yeah.
fucking toy anyway. Fuck you,
Um,
fuck it. And
yeah.
the only thing he wants is a little bit of attention and appreciation and acknowledgement. And of course, with that follows the integration. Because as long as you resist the shadow, whatever shadow you have, or whatever shadow environment that you're in, it's gonna only get worse. Now, I'm not saying go fucking emo. That's not what I'm saying.
Become a
Although I
goth.
have
Yeah.
had that face, mom. I have had it face plenty of fucking times. Great profile pic, Tixon.
Ryan G would have had a goth mommy I mean, way back. Wait, what about TXL?
Why?
Why I yada. Oh yeah.
No, no, no. This
Grab a
might be an
drink.
ode to my ex, but anyway, made me realize just how much I'm into the god chicks. Anyway, and the thing is, I'm pretty into it. I never understood the memes until I was like, nope. Now I get it. Now I it's like the end of the video watching a movie, right? Whatever the series was, and this he goes wide-eyed and goes, "No, no, I understand." And
When
it's the
the
same thing
memes
with your
keep
shadow.
score for you, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yes,
fun.
they do. Are there any questions from YouTube, by the way?
Um, there's comments. So the Mathis says, yeah, I get the monetize your dark side as it came up. Yeah, that's a slippery slope, especially with pride is the main issue of the fall. And it's always balance on Gray Jedi in that. Can't light work or overcompensate over it, period. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't also go completely left-hand path because there's a lot of ethics involved when dealing with, especially hexes, etc. You must be ethical at all times because you will be judged.
Yeah.
You will be judged. That's also one of the main reasons I work with Uncle M, Uncle Makara, Sumit
Yeah.
over there. No?
Right.
Yeah, there. And fucking married shit. Anyway, hey for us. Assuming it's for us because it's always iPhone with you, you know?
Mm.
Anyway, we're also on a Zoom call, guys, in case you haven't noticed. Anyway,
Yeah. Maybe for the next one, we'll put the Zoom link in the YouTube as well, so maybe YouTube people can
Yeah, we
start
could. I mean,
joining.
I don't know if the live necessarily has it, but
Yeah,
anyway, the point is you need to accept the shadow. And I believe in being a man of high ethics is a man that demonstrates high character. You have any idea how many times people triggered my shadow to like a motherfucker, and I had to
yeah.
keep
Like
calm.
like the independent thinker comes up as an archetype, like the person who decides to be the lone wolf, the cowboy of American culture.
Hey,
How he's like the rebel and like the independent thought leader, sort of that quality of the mystic king, the outlaw king keeps coming
hmm,
up. Like the king who doesn't follow the rules, um, but still everybody loves him. He gets the job done and he's hella resourceful. Like that's the energy I'm getting
mhm.
and picking up. Maybe this is the spirit guides we
Sounds a
work with.
lot
Who
like
knows?
Luffy from One Piece. But sure,
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. That's an
But sure.
archetype, man, for
Okay,
sure.
so here's a question for the dudes online. Would you
Hmm.
rather be a cowboy, a pirate, or a samurai?
Right. Right. Good question.
I don't
Pirate,
know.
cowboy, or samurai? Type it in the comments, guys.
It's such an Instagram move, would you rather
Yeah.
be? Anyway, but each and every one of these, wow, okay, TXL. TXL says all of them. I'm wise so I can appreciate all of them. Okay, good joke.
Appropriate
Good.
them all, yeah.
Appropriate and well. Funny, funny.
Great. But yeah, so anyway, back on topic. So I would say that negative energy is almost like a check engine light. You can't
Mhm.
pretend that it's not there. So most people get scared when it just even shows up, and then they resist it and suppress it. And they try to think positive over the problem,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
right? But you don't solve a problem by pretending it's not there, bro. It's about looking the beast in the eyes and saying, what the fuck do you want?
Yep.
And at the moment you understand, the
Huh.
moment you integrate that part of yourself, then it stops haunting you all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hate to kick a dead horse, but look at a recent challenge where I almost had an altercation with my wrestling coach, but I also noticed that I was talking to two entities at the same time, him and whatever else he's connected with, and both did it
Oh
like
man,
me.
I know that feeling.
And
Yeah.
it's very weird to see his face kind of morph in the moment where I was like,
Yeah.
this is no longer my coach. I don't know what the
Yeah.
fuck is. It's like you're really listening to the guy and taking his advice to heart, but suddenly his face changes and he's like weirdly snarls and he catches himself in the act of snarling and it's like, okay, that was weird, but the energy's already there. And now I need to be so in tune with my star player, referencing Cat Williams, the star
Mm.
player, which is me, and ask myself if I was a A-list athlete making a lot of money, right? And
Mm.
I've hired this guy as my wrestling coach. Is this the behavior that I will accept from him or anyone that I have hired in the past, am hiring now, or will hire in the future? The answer is fuck no. And fuck the fuck out. Did cord cutting rituals, heavy cord cutting rituals. I like to plant two candles in like a dry earth. And as the rope burns, I'm gonna see what happens. And wouldn't you fucking know the earth caught on fire? So I don't know what the fuck that's about. I just know I don't want to fucking deal with him or whatever he's connected to. Because one, fuck that
There's
shit.
something off with the
Two,
foundation. That's the immediate thing that came up. The first
yeah,
sentence. Yeah.
yeah. I don't. It's one of those. It would cost me more to get involved, and I wouldn't be appreciated. I can guarantee it.
Oh
And
man,
two,
yeah.
it's you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'd rather go when
Yeah.
I'm loved and appreciated.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. If you don't like what you see, change who's looking, basically.
context dependent, man. I mean, shit. Depends on who's watching the show.
Right. And TXL says to solve any problem, find X. I love that. I've been thinking about this X thing more and more, bro. It's
God damn it.
actually
This
such a
again.
powerful thing. No,
Ah,
it is. It really is. If you take it sideways, it becomes the cross, first and foremost. Secondly, X mass, right? X
I
is
mean, if
also
you
the
put it on an
10,
edge,
right?
you kind of could say you kind of could, if you pull it from its center, it becomes a pyramid.
Well, it's a
So,
binary universe. X is also part X, the thing I posted TXL in that like it's a part of you say no to, right? The shadow. It's like no, part
right,
X,
right,
you know?
right. Because the X's have a pattern itself. And at Maori woman,
Christ Moss say 10, right? Yeah.
right,
Fuck.
right,
It's going
right.
deeper. It's a
And your
shapeshifter number.
X's have
I mean
the
letter.
girls you've dated or the men you've dated tend to show a pattern. And it could be because you haven't healed or integrated certain aspects of the shadow, you keep attracting certain men or women or lovers into your life that cause the same type of bullshit frustrations.
Hmm.
All right, it's just like the moment where I have like an honest moment with you, Sumit, and just ask you like, okay, to which extent? No, have I integrated the lesson or the shared pattern from the last three X's?
I'm sensing it's a maybe. So it's an in
Hmm.
between.
It's an
Yeah.
in between. So is it higher than 50% or lower than 50%?
It's higher than 50.
Is it higher than 75%?
No.
Fuck, 60%?
Yeah, like 65, yeah.
65, 65.
Yeah.
Okay, what should I do to get it to 75?
Hmm.
So while Sumit is connecting with the Nexus, I do these exercises so that I can keep evolving. My whole style of shamanism is the moment I have clarity, then it's only a matter of drawing a straight line from me and where I want to go, and whatever is in the way becomes the way. That's all I'm doing. And either the best route is to avoid the obstacle, go through the obstacle, work with the obstacle, make the obstacle maybe my training weights, and I just go through it. So,
Are
what are
well the Nexus is saying, are there things that you still have unexpressed towards any of them? Because that's a
I
part
have
of the
plenty of
equation.
things I haven't expressed towards any of them, and it has mostly to
Yeah.
do with a combination of I did not want to be treated that way. That's one. And two, it would be I for sure apologize from the bottom of my heart that I wasn't better. And
Yeah.
I
I'm
may
laughing because again
work
it's an X, right? It's an X, it's
right,
like cross them out, you know?
right,
It's the
guys.
same thing.
And should I ever listen to this podcast, I know I genuinely apologize for not being the man we both know we could have been.
Why don't you just call X your teacher instead? Like a Dakini sort of thing, because then it's
Well,
like
because that would
that
mean
person
I'm
taught me
actually
during
calling.
them.
That would also mean I'm actually calling the Dakinis towards me.
Right, 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 right.
And
That could go wrong
although
actually.
although I think I'm ready,
Exit, yeah. Exit flag.
it's also you don't enter through an exit. You know what I mean? Unless you're into that. Unless you're into that. Yeah, I'm not judging.
Bruh.
Ah.
Yeah, I think it's the
I,
violet flame, bro. This is too
I knew a
too
gauge was
high
going to
in
happen
light.
at some point in this
Positive vibes
podcast.
today. Yeah, yeah. Let's see the comments. Better to rule in hell than to serve in heaven. Paradise Lost.
I can see that.
Been there, done that. It's a process. I truly believe everyone wanting to be a new Earth leader has to do shadow work required.
Yeah,
It's a do or
agreed.
die in that case. Yeah,
Agreed.
totally.
Agreed.
The fake ones are gonna get called out, and like, yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
it's gonna
Yeah.
come up.
Oh,
Yeah,
funny.
it's already happening. Fuck. It's already
TXL,
happening.
what are you doing, man? So to to YouTube Live and those who are viewing this podcast, on the Zoom call, and of course he changed it to fucker. He had some weird ass Barney with droopy tits, and that just caught me so off guard. That caught me completely off guard.
Hey
And I was
man,
like,
you're the author of your story. So if you want Barney with tits, like go for it. You know that
go for it,
if
dude.
it
Go for
shapes your reality, you got to ask yourself, is
it.
this the
Okay.
story you want to live?
Hey man.
If
Hey
not,
man.
rewrite it. The Exo says,
Hey.
hell yeah.
Did you know the famous
Heaven yeah.
Barney song was written by R. Kelly? What
No.
is what a
You told me
what a
that a while
st-
back. Yeah.
yeah,
That's strange.
it is.
You mean the Barney, the I love you, you love me,
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
song?
the same one. The same one has been written by
Wow.
R. Kelly.
What the?
Yeah, yeah. So maybe this image I'm seeing is a little bit shout out to R. Kelly. Indeed. Free free my boy R. Kelly. Exactly. He didn't do it.
Uh,
Whatever. Whatever. I'm joking. I'm joking. We joke a lot here.
yeah, read
Laughter
the
is a great
disclaimer, man.
medicine. But to go back to the exes thing, you tend to attract the patterns that you need. And by way of doing what I'm doing live, I aim to process it as efficiently and as effectively as possible, even if it hurts. I mean,
Mm.
and this is funny to me hearing this morning by one of the team leads. She told
Oh,
me basically, apparently I'm one of the few people that know how to deal very well with criticism and feedback. It's like I get it, I crystallize it to action steps, and I just execute. And I couldn't care less. I immediately handle my
yeah.
business.
But the thing is, you want live feedback, not like feedback that's pending or like, an evaluation or something, because that would be like, fuck, it's like I'm
Well,
not
that's
getting
the
the
difference
what
between
to
a
do or
meeting
like
and a
edit.
workshop for me. Like we
Yeah,
can do a
yeah, yeah,
meeting, sure, if the only thing we can do is just talk. Like talk shit out, fine. Perfect.
yeah.
Meeting. But if the meeting is supposed to lead to action, instead I would rather have a workshop. Let's express the agenda points, right? Talk about the things that we can talk about
Yeah, bro. Most meetings
and
are so
just get to work.
unproductive. They,
Don't get me started on meetings with the
bro.
government. Bruh, we had meetings recapping meetings. I was
Bro,
like, what are we
what
doing?
the
I was just,
meetingception?
I, I almost quit the project. It's one of the
Mm,
very few times I figured,
yeah.
shadow work is
That's
shadow
when
work,
the
but this is
job
ridiculous.
makes you like the background character, and not the main like
Yes,
hero. It's like they have
yes,
a power to do that sometimes, so watch out.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
here's the thing, man. I was for sure at some point a background character until I decided I'm tired of listening.
yeah.
So they had two
Mm.
options: either fucking fire me or give me work to do. And that's kind of where I started blooming again, and
Yeah, because you
less
reclaimed your
depressed.
power back, right, as a
Yeah,
creator.
oh, it was fantastic. I felt so
Yeah.
alive. But as per the
Mm.
government, they think they know your job better and then forbade you to do certain things, which has led to things not getting finished and then our stakeholders getting angry at us. And then I'm just looking at the management like, told you, but you don't want to listen. I did get great testimonials from my team though, so that's fantastic. But again, I think I also had a DACA there, correct? Some Lebanese guy, and what I just don't like is people who are batch better socializing on in a professional way and just straight up assholes. And I had to
Yeah.
and forgive him and talk to him and just say, hey, what's going on? Blah blah blah. Cause he's like barely 5'1". I'm at least 5'8". And I know how to wrestle and choke someone else. And so I'm just biding my time, going like, okay, I can legally not get away with punching the shit out of him or dislocating his jaw with a choke. Not gonna happen. So, okay, let's wait for him at the watering hole where we get coffee, whatever, and realize that if he is my shadow, then I must treat him as such. And if I'm gonna treat him as such, I would treat him as myself.
Mm,
Just he looks different. Like, okay. Then we talked a little
yeah.
bit. And then
Yeah,
I
treat
called him out
everyone
on a few
like your
things.
clones. Treat everybody
Yeah,
like your clone.
because
That's a really
if
good
someone
way
is your
to think.
projection
Yeah.
anyway, right?
Right.
Let's say one of the girls I'm interested in is the indecisive as shit, and it pisses me
Okay.
the fuck off. And I'm like, fucking choose a story or narrative, whatever, and just go with it at this point, because you're already falling. Fucking grab something at this point, right?
Right.
Increase,
I think
increase.
this is what also triggers a lot of us is the wishy-washiness of the spirituality
Ah,
industry. You know, it's
oh,
like,
don't get me started.
fuck.
Oh, don't get me started.
Make
The
a
amount of people I
choice,
almost punched
bruh.
in Bali. Oh my God. And they're so fucking pretentious as well, you know? Oh, they
Mm.
just sound fucking pretentious. And I'm just like, bro, what are you doing?
That's also a
No.
big way to like stop yourself from learning is the person who says, I know it all. I already know this, you know, and then just they just stop the evolution process or they, you know?
Um, so the reason why I definitely say I don't know it all is uh every time I think I do,
Hmm.
s like a series of things happen to me that made me go, I'm going to surrender to whatever this is, or I'm either gonna go crazy or commit suicide. Note to YouTube. I meant as an example for me. Disclaimer to the world, don't be a fucking idiot, seek therapy. That being said, let's continue on. And like let's say give an example of building off the last guy, right? I could have punched him, lost my reputation. And I had to deal with different aspects of the situation, talk to different coaches that I work with at the consultancy, and I made a decision. The only way I could get my harmony back is by playfully confronting the shadow that happens to be a real fucking human being. And I just had a 5 minute conversation. The guy bought me lunch multiple occasions because
Your shadow brought you lunch.
my shadow brought me lunch. And he's still an
That's
asshole. He's still like,
fantastic.
just so fucking difficult to work with, man. And I had to
Yeah.
laugh when the new team took over and one of the dudes told me like, man, he's tough to work with. And I was like, haha,
Imagine
yes
an
he is.
anti-Ryan. That would piss you the fuck off.
Oh, I'll kill him. I'll
Right?
fucking
So
kill him.
this is a very important code for us guys that the opposite you, the anti-you, right? Anti-Christ, right? The anti-you. If you come
Nah,
here
man.
looking for a shortcut and you try to
Yes.
skip shadow work and you try to reach enlightenment without facing your demons, it's not
Yeah,
going to
it's not gonna
work.
work.
You don't
The
get
the,
to
the
be a god without
fastest. Oh
conquering the
yeah.
devil inside you, right?
Remember, should we talk about the oh no, we talked about it a few times. The LSD session with Brad was fantastic. If you ever go to New Zealand, and please do it via Pete Kirkwood, do a LSD session with Brad and Pete Kirkwood. That was fantastic. If they're listening, you guys have changed my mind on LSD. Let's say that. But I remember having, especially the second time, where it was such an extreme confrontation of my ego. And if I hadn't gotten the training from you and the deities, especially regarding shadow work, I don't think I would have handled whatever that was well at all. Because I had to be so in tune with myself, so grounded.
Well, you have to be comfortable with ego death, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was tough. That was, and I think I went to a lot of ego deaths that day. Because it was
Yeah.
less
It was amazing seeing you actually like unfold in a sense. And
pause and no homo. But yes, I
yeah,
did
pause and no homo for sure. You know what's interesting is the word. So the word sister in
where are you going
these
with this?
is Didi, right? No Didi.
Yes.
Anyway, forget it. Bad
Oh, yeah,
joke.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
no sister. Like, but yeah, do the work,
Uh,
reclaim your power, and
yes.
rise, you know, and read the disclaimer.
Well, the general disclaimers don't be an idiot.
Yeah.
Don't be
Absolutely.
an idiot.
Use your
That's
wisdom,
of course we put in
use your
legal
discernment.
text, to keep ourselves safe, but overall for normies, don't be a fucking idiot. Follow the laws of your land. Don't get yourself in situations you can avoid. And that's kind of how I'm seeing shadow work. It's by deliberately getting myself into situations where I get a chance
Hmm.
to face my shadows and choose to play with him.
Would it be ideal to see your shadow as self-amusement? Would that be ideal? Or
That
like
would help.
entertainment?
That would help. That would help take away the emotional load it also
Hmm.
takes on, you know? Because
Yeah.
let's be honest, people that piss you off real good.
Yeah.
If there was an anti-samba, let's say, you know,
Anti-Samba is awful. That guy
you know what I
sucks.
mean? You know what I mean? Samba, that guy, man, fuck that guy.
Right.
But he's medicine, whether you like it or not, man.
Mm.
He's medicine. You might hate him
Mm.
to the very core. Imagine someone who has
He's here. Yeah. Straight up.
someone who is just completely opposite virtues, etc. And every time you guys stare at each other, you just want to just walk out the room barfing because you are puking because you're like so disgusted. But in that moment of meeting each other, you have a choice. You can repeat the same pattern or observe the trigger. And it's a bitch and a half to observe the trigger because by observing it, you must also allow the emotion, the thoughts, the trigger itself to do whatever it needs to do. And man, does it suck. But over time, it hurts less. Over
Do no
time, you
harm, take no
understand.
shit, you
Do
know?
no harm, take
So,
no shit, for sure. Right?
yeah.
And while you're doing the inner work, you must also be willing to do the outer work because you can't have inner beauty without also creating outer beauty. And in my case, I confronted the guy and shit happened. And there also been cases where I didn't call shit out and it caused me a lot of distress. A lot of distress. And I should have done it. But to one of my exes, for sure, I apologize for not calling you out on your absolute fucking bullshit. And same apology applies to your friends. Fuck you. I should have called you out on all of your bullshit. Might as well be. No pain, no gain. I've learned my lesson. That being said, has the percentage increased or something, or was that the exercise I was supposed to be doing?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
wait, I'm just reading Mathis's comments.
Okay.
Work tests and quests. He says, you want to call out your shadow? He says, password sex.
I mean, I could ring her bell, but whether she opens the door, that's that's the question.
That's
Nah.
actually very deep in more ways than one. No pun
Hey.
intended. Just shadow work,
Ah,
just character and energy. Yeah, yeah, that's what it is.
well, if you simplify it to its core, yeah, sure, but
Your anima comes through your fantasies, by the way, as a man. It comes through your sexual fantasies. So just be cautious of that. Be very cautious of that because it will take you down that world and make you not live that out in the present reality if you let it take you into a mental world or realm. Like, for instance, if Ryan were to really listen to those mermaids that were telling him to go out into the ocean in New
I would
Zealand,
have died.
he would have drowned, right?
I
So
would have died.
this is why you
There
have
had to
to
be a
use
trap,
discernment. Yeah, it has to be a trap,
especially near
right?
that
So
one beach, right? I had a funny feeling there's a sinkhole there. Is that true?
that's correct.
Fuck.
Or like some kind
Fuck,
of thing
man.
that sinks. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man. I'll never forget us driving on that bridge and then going back, and I swear on my life I saw like a female handprint. Was I hallucinating or did I really see that?
You saw that.
Fuck, that's man,
That's
why
creepy.
did they want to kill me? Or was it out of malice or were they just hungry for me being on semen retention? Maybe some
I
mutate
don't think it
Stacey or
works
something.
like that, bro. I don't think SR goes into like undines and nymphs and
Yeah,
attracts them
fucking.
towards you. I think they want different kind of energy from you. Um,
They wanted me, but in a very different way. So no, no, it's for real though, because I have been wondering this for like months. Like it didn't feel like an attack. It felt like they were hunting me down.
well, it's their nature to lure. It's a mermaid or a siren is meant to lure you into the sea to
Well,
drown
that's
you.
why it's
Like
called
that's their
allure, right? Because that's what the mermaids have. Yeah,
allure, right? Yeah,
allure, right?
allure. Ah, yeah. They
Fucking hell,
lure you
man.
in,
So
right?
why were so why? I still don't understand why they wanted me dead.
You work with their energies. Any other reason?
Huh.
Rakishness, just like
Well, that's for
rakishness
sure.
in general, or like that roguishness quality to it,
That's fair. That's
always
fair.
brings in siren
But
energy.
but then I'm wondering, is this the shadow aspects of the siren that I'm not familiar with?
Could be related to fear. Like, are you scared of that particular energy that
Well,
you
now the
will?
fuck I am. Yeah. Like I could have died that day. Who wouldn't be scared? Like I saw a handprint of a mermaid phantom or wraith or whatever. Well, like fuck shadow work. What's that about? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
What shadow work I
exactly.
was supposed to do? How am I supposed to confront
What
a
shadow
mer?
is that? Yeah,
What is that supposed
totally.
to mean? Yeah, does
Mm.
Mama Fapar, who's like a demon mermaid, have any insights on this?
No, I don't think
Fuck.
it's related to your Shakti.
This is
I
not even
think
related to my Shakti.
it's related more so towards. I think it was the energy of the island too, because remember when we went there, it was heavily raining too in the
Yeah,
beginning,
yeah,
and then it stopped raining after we kind of went out and like
yeah.
started approaching places. So yeah, I think it definitely has to do with that. And Akura's, Varuna's, just a lot of water energies would probably bring in water beings, bro. Like that sounds about right. Okay, I think
Mm.
we have we gone
Roughly 10 more minutes and we're there.
okay, 10 more
Ish.
minutes. Yeah, thank you, babe.
So, thanks, W, indeed. Are there any
Yeah.
statements, comments? Hey, Matis, thank you for joining the Zoom call and the YouTube live. But are you doing double work? Good job.
Great to
Huh.
have you guys on here, man. Tapping in live.
Mm.
Amazing. Oh man, I didn't even see that Chad Preet. Thank you. He said the suit mogs so real. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I still want to see you wear more black and combined with like gold shawls or whatever. Like that's,
That would be
but again,
cool.
that's more my aesthetic.
That would be
Uh,
cool. For the right occasion, yeah, I think.
well, every occasion is the right occasion with me. Hey.
Hey,
Anyway.
showtime all the time. Yeah, that's true.
All right. So back to shadow work. How do you want to end this? I would say to conclude, it is absolutely required to learn to play with your shadow. That's how I see shadow
Mm,
work and or play.
yeah,
And as you notice, even as the shadow shaman of Primal Sutra, I have a lot still to learn, especially when it comes to, I don't know, fucking almost being killed by sirens, and it's likely to do with some shadow aspect of me. Is that true, Smith?
could be.
Could be. Okay. So I'm gonna fucking figure out
Further
what
shadow
that's
work
about.
needed.
For
Shadow work downloading. File too big to unzip.
what do you mean too
Like
big?
file too big to
But it
unzip,
does surprise me that uh the mermaid demoness Vapar, one of my mothers, doesn't have the answer to that. So that also means that the others don't have any clue why that is. That
yeah.
is
I'm
crazy to
sure
me.
my Aphrodite wouldn't either, probably. Yeah. I don't think
Damn,
because
so
it's not related to your three main Shakti. By the way, guys, we have this concept called the three main Shakti. For women, it
hmm.
would be the three main Shiva, I guess, in that context. Basically,
Huh.
it's a way that you would combine your opposing principle. So for a man, it would be female traits or goddesses in a sense. For a woman, It would be a male, a god.
Huh. Just
And
just to double check.
yeah,
In the summertime, a few young dudes drowned nearby. Were some of these
okay.
drownings caused by mermaids?
This is which particular beach? Could you tell me like
Like right
anything
nearby,
else?
like I'm talking about Scheveningen and Kijkduin.
Was it associated with the siren energies you're saying?
I had a
The
funny
drownings?
feeling that something was involved. I'm trying to make a parallel between the sirens that wanted to fucking drown my ass over there and the sirens over here. And I'm trying to
I
understand a pattern.
I don't think this was under siren territory. Doesn't
Okay.
seem like it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Seems
then
like something else. Yeah.
something else then. Damn, what could it be? But
Yeah.
as you guys notice, I'm looking for patterns, either regarding shadow work or patterns even of behavior, be it thought, emotions, etc., that might have caused these
So logic and
entities.
intuition, right? So Ryan
Yes.
has a pattern and he tells me to muscle test it, and then I muscle test it, and then we move forward.
It's kind
So
of like golfing in a way, right? I'm trying to hit the ball in such a way where the moment it lands, immediately knows, oh, there's a little more to the right. Like, and
mm,
I'm just gonna keep shooting until I have the target in sight and I'm absolutely sure here's where we need to go and we fucking handle it immediately.
yeah.
If I knew how to muscle test, this would have been unfair.
Bro, do you remember that time where we stopped randomly and then we had to like walk through these two um frames or something and then come back and there's this woman like waiting there,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah, yeah,
something,
yeah.
like this
Yeah,
old
that was a,
woman. I was
yeah,
like, what?
you could tell, or you could, at some point you could really tell who's a witch and who's not. You could fucking tell.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
she
for
was
sure.
looking at us too, like she knew. You could, yeah. Has nothing to do with shadow work in this case, but it does has a lot to do with regardless of how you see yourself, still upholding a high level of character, regardless of what mission you're on. You'll see, you heard me talk about, fuck the magic, fuck the spirituality, show me high character. That's probably the reason why I'm such a big proponent of doing shadow work. Because can you confront your own bullshit and still choose to, one, forgive yourself, two, not feel guilty about not being able to do it or whatever you've done in the past because of your lack of shadow work, and three, most importantly, learn to play with it. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's like kind of playing it with a porcupine. I've never played with a porcupine before, so how the hell are you supposed to, fucking... And every time you think you have it in the right way, it fucking stabs you, like, motherfucker. And then you want to
Mm.
smack it, but then it looks at you cute, and I'm like, ah.
Like playing with a porcupine. That's an interesting analogy, huh? Shout out to Sonic 3.
So that
Yeah.
is not very
I
sure. Is there a difference between a hedgehog and a porcupine? I don't know.
don't know, man.
I don't know. We're
I
not
think one is
biologists,
spiky,
guys.
one isn't, or whatever. But yeah.
I don't know, man.
Um,
Anyway, seeing how we have a few minutes left,
yeah. I'm just seeing the comments.
would you say...
Malice. Yeah, I
hmm.
know a big motherfucking shadow is killing the ego and see it suffer would be the play of the king of the world. Yeah. The shadow would be devastated nihilism or ego apathy.
Mhm.
Would you say you need others for shadow work? Yeah, because we can't. I
Uh,
would definitely say yes and no. Yes, because we do need a mirror at times and we can't see our own blind spots. We always need someone else to point
yep,
out our blind spots. So
yep.
that's number one. And
And plus, we humans are social animals, and if you sociality or sociality itself, as per demonstrated by ants, etc., and other pack animals have done great for themselves. And I consider
yeah,
myself a pack animal, and whatever shadow comes up with the people I work with, I know that it's like a great opportunity to grow in such massive ways. So yeah, I say
yeah.
yes.
And once you really heal yourself, like you don't go back to your old nonsense anymore, kind of. It does come back, but it's not as, dense. So you have more
Yeah,
leverage.
yeah.
That's really powerful.
But speaking of
Um,
leverage, This year
Yeah,
is the year of Mars. This year is the year
man.
of the snake. This year is a layer of Heru.
Yes,
And
definitely.
combined, we've decided, you know what, and it's been a long time coming, and TXL convinced us multiple times to give this a shot. So he figured, fuck it, TXL, you're absolutely right. We're heading to Sedona this August. I want to be there for the 8 of 8, 8 portal, which is also called the Lions Gate, and this year is a very heavy Lion team for me, very heavy Leo team for me. And I'm hoping to see all of you there. For those who can make it, if not, we do have this time in an online version. So if you can't make it and or you want to have a more affordable option, please be free. We're gonna do the same shit, but then record it. But of course, um, if you come with us live, we're gonna have an adventure. And that's what I'm there for. I want to have a fucking adventure.
Yeah.
Pretend that I'm an Indian or cowboy or whatever. Like an Indian pretending to be an Indian, you know? That's kind
Right.
of what I'm going for, you know?
One thing
But
is definitely to the audience, I would say, and this is just coming up, is
yep.
that there's a difference between personal shadow and collective shadow.
Ooh, well said.
So,
Well said.
so you got to be careful if you're absorbing any of the collective shadows ideas, um, as well as like personal things that just tick you off or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's end it here, Ryan G. If you want to hop the Sedona Current with us, the Anamnesis portal, amazing. We'd love to see you
And the
there.
thing is, we tend to do things like these only once a year.
That's true.
So if you missed the New Zealand one, you can still hop on the Sedona one, and maybe next year we're heading to Egypt, assuming there's no fucking war over there, you know, because that's also a fucking thing. And we chose Sedona this time, especially because I haven't been in the USA since the lockdown, you know,
Yeah.
since Corona, and it's been like a good 5 years. And when I was in the USA, I went immediately to Las Vegas because I figured, fuck it. If I'm gonna sin, you might as well sin, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, the idea is for now to meet up in Sedona and go have fun and likely between now and then start getting in contact with different Native American, etc. healers, contacts. I'm hoping to see Powerhouse there as well and all my USA brothers, which includes TXL and Samba. I hope you guys can make it. And let's have fun. We're likely gonna rent either one or two Airbnbs depending on our budget, etc. And the plan is to road trip, have fun, and see the healing we can get.
Yeah. It'd be
And
awesome.
depending on the context, we can either score some LSD or something. I don't know. Again, disclaimer, don't be an idiot. Don't be an idiot.
Ryan just means lucid something dream.
Yeah, exactly,
He's not
exactly.
talking about the drug. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. All right. Uh so basically, um about the Sedona portal. If you are
Yes.
interested, we have the website ready. So if you do go to primalsutramysteryschool.com and you just go click on the student immersion and you can start learning more about it there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Sure.
And yeah, just reach out to us and then we'll put you on the wait list. Let's get it. Upward Spiral Gang.
Us.
Peace, guys.
All right,
Peace,
so
love.
needs to go to back quickly, so I'll do one quick 5 minutes with